Oh, how lucky was that? Hi, guys.
They can't hear us yet.
Well, they might. Morning. It's not morning. Feels like morning. We've been going since 6. How are we all?
Morning, everybody. Very different Saturday today, because usually it would be the curly cooks. It would all be chaos at home. Got the Saturday papers. But we are away. We're in Glasgow. Actually, we've left our house.
Really shouting.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
We've left, maybe because I'm in Glasgow.
Maybe it's because the phone. Maybe it's because the phone's so far away. Yeah.
So we just got a call from our place, our house in London, and everybody's in the garden and having barbecues and everything. And it's very grey in Glasgow. But the reason we're not doing curly cooks is because we're going to be tomorrow at the Ideal Home exhibition doing the curly cooks live from the Eat Drink Festival at the Ideal Home. So if you're in Glasgow, come and see us live.
And if you're not, then come onto this channel live tomorrow. What time is the first one?
The first show is at 11. So
30, I thought.
Yeah, 11:30. Yeah, 11:30. So at 11:30 tomorrow,
Live.
Mark will be filming it live from the Ideal Home exhibition.
Probably a little bit before that. So we'll probably be
Yeah.
live a little bit before that.
And then the next 2 shows will be on the members, in the members area. So if you want to see the other 2 shows, that'll be in the members area.
Fantastic. Fantabulosity. So yeah, we're in Scotland. And the one thing I'm most excited about whenever I come up here is iron brew. I love iron brew.
I never knew this.
I mean, I not only love it, for me, it's the only thing that exists that takes me back to the days of Tizer. Do you remember Tizer?
No idea.
I love iron brew. Love it. I mean, I love it.
But
Iron
you
brew
liked
light.
Iron brew.
And you know there's girders. It's made of girders.
Yeah, that's what
Did you
they
know
say.
that? It's made of
This
girders.
top will look pregnant.
And I love it how you come off the plane, literally, in Scotland, and there are tunnocks, tea cakes everywhere.
Massive boxes of it.
I just love that.
Dina's in the hotel room next door, preparing. We're going to go over to the exhibition centre after this to do all the prep, do all the chopping and the.
God, that's so loud. I think you're.
It's because we're in Glasgow. Because I think I need to shout more.
You shout to London. It's really. I'm not. It's not.
No, I know.
It really is difficult.
Please keep stopping me.
No, it's just that I know that when I'm loud, it's annoying.
Yeah, it's annoying.
So yeah. I'm just. Oh look! Wait till you try iron brew with cream.
Oh, now that's interesting,
like
because I
a
was thinking,
float.
is there a way that we could make a dessert out of iron brew? Iron brew jelly?
Dina said that there's a margarita cocktail made with iron brew. Yeah, it's quite.
Oh,
What have you done?
just chuck my finger in.
Okay, so obviously in the news today, big news, obviously. Well, we haven't seen you since Phillip Schofield were sensationally apologised to virtually everyone. Weirdly, I'll tell you the weirdest part of all of it was it felt like he apologised to the Daily Mail before he apologised to anyone else. So obviously the Phillip Schofield story broke, massive news. We're going to be talking about that. But also Pink Floyd, Roger Waters, dressed as an SS officer at a gig in Germany, has elicited an investigation into whether he was essentially inciting right-wing fascist kind of sentiment.
There's a possible 3-year sentence in Germany for wearing that uniform.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah.
There's also chaos apparently at UK airports. Now, to be honest with you, we didn't experience the passport end of things, did we? Particularly, we did.
We still went through departures.
Yeah, well, that's true. And
We
apparently
did
it's total
everything.
carnage everywhere. It wasn't, I have to say, it wasn't at Gatwick.
We had the most stress-free journey ever. So, you know.
Thanks, Vicky Equi.
The papers do love to whip it up
Don't they?
every single time, don't they?
Yeah.
So obviously leave enough time, but honestly, as far as we were concerned, just like that last time when I was flying out, who was that guy? When I was going to meet Jane and Kay last year, do you remember? And I was paranoid with terror that I was going to miss my flight because there's no way anyone's going to get on a flight that did. And I went through the quickest ever through the airport.
So Rachel says just here, the trolls need to leave Holly alone. It's interesting, isn't it? This story that's developed, before we talk about, I think even talk about the Phillip Schofield thing, this is manna from heaven for trolls. I bet there are trolls out there with about 18 different accounts, all plying a different line of attack. One saying, look after him. One saying, look after the poor young lad. One saying, attack this person. One saying, support this. And I bet they're all coming from the same person. This is a feeding frenzy opportunity where there is, in a sense, there is a big story here. It's a big story. And there are so many potential targets, aren't there? And there are so many potential victims as well. So, there is one particular person at the centre of all of this who one has to think of first and foremost. I think the first thing one has to say before you even talk about Phillip Schofield and all the stuff that's kind of, the whole circus that's kind of playing out around him, is that you have to stop and pause and think about the young person that, in even Phillip Schofield's statement, he purports to be doing all of this, making this apology in order to stop people hounding, harassing, and making the young person in question's life hell. And for me, the first thought I keep having is about that young person, not about a broadcaster, not about, when I say broadcaster, I mean like ITV or the BBC. This isn't, as we know with the Jimmy Savile case, this isn't just about one broadcaster. This is about institutions and how institutions manage these things, how businesses manage these things. And I think obviously ITV have issued a statement today, like Phillip Schofield's agents issued a statement the day before yesterday, or was it yesterday? And the line that is coming out, obviously, is that Phillip Schofield lied to everyone. Lied to the broadcaster, his bosses, lied to his agents, with whom he has shares and owns part of the company, and I think his daughter works for them. Lied to his co-presenters, who were essentially led up the garden path in so many different areas. But at the end of the day,
and this is all what he said.
This is everything he said. So now, I also hesitate to say that. I'm going to sort of say my bit, and then obviously want to hear from Nads. But my thing on it all is, yes, you have to be careful, even when you have a strong opinion against someone. He's admitted that he's lied. He's admitted an inappropriate relationship. I think his choice of words is curious. What was it? It was illegal, or I can't remember what he said. It wasn't illegal.
A mistake, but legal.
And the danger of doubling down in as extraordinary a fashion as a lot of people are, is that of course there is also a man there who's going to be impacted, and he has family, he has a wife, and he has children, and so this is the perils of this stuff playing out in public, and you being someone with a public profile. So there are many, when I say there are many victims, there are many victims, even, beyond even the poor, person who's involved in the Phillip Schofield scandal. Let's call it a scandal, because it is a scandal, isn't it? So on all of that, I'm just going to say my major take on this story is, I don't think by simply issuing the letter or the press release that ITV have issued that is the end of the story, that things aren't going to be investigated more, that more wasn't known, that more hasn't been known in certain areas. And I think that's a really important thing to say here.
Well, you mean that's what people are going to keep looking for?
Well, everyone feels a cover-up has happened. Everyone, the vast majority of people feel that some kind of cover-up has happened. And I think what's happening here now is there's a feeding frenzy on, if you are in any way associated with the channel, you must have known and you're covering up. Which just isn't the case.
Clearly is
it can't be the case, because how many times have you worked for people, or you've been in a team and there's a rumour mill about someone and you can't verify it. You just can't verify it. And I think there's a major difference between this and the Jimmy Savile situation, in that with the Jimmy Savile situation, so many people who were culpable witnessed and saw things.
And people aren't making a parallel between the two, which is
we haven't got countless potential victims or people alleging similar behaviour. That's not to say there isn't any other news to come out. I mean, obviously that's to wait and see. But I think that there is a real attempt to try and suggest that everyone and anyone, if you walk down a corridor that he was in, you must have known. And it just isn't the case. It just is not the case. Rumours swirl, but rumours are different to having proof. And it's only with proof that you then really go to someone and say, this has happened, this did happen, or there's proof that this happened. So,
and I suppose
therein
that's
lies
why
the problem.
A lot of people, and it is, there is an insane feeding frenzy now, isn't there? I mean, it really is quite extraordinary. I know certainly, we with our channel and myself, and there'll be many other
unwise but not illegal.
Yeah, there'll be many people that, like you say, that people are now on a feeding frenzy. Oh, what did people know and what did people not know, and all of this stuff. And the thing is, the statement that he has made, it is despicable what Phillip has done. He has said that he has lied to every single person in his life, whether that be management, whether that be his co-presenters, whether that be he has said. So now that is a real thing. That is what he has said. So much of what is being pushed around now and talked about is without evidence, isn't it? That's the thing. Rumour and gossip. I remember when you were in rehab, it's within AA, isn't it? They say gossip kills. And to gossip and to go further with that gossip than you actually know is the truth is a very dangerous thing.
That's why trolls love it. That's why all trolls are wannabe killers.
That's why there is such a feeding frenzy.
Yeah. Can I just want to just interrupt just on your behalf. A number of people saying, can Nadia not say anything? Nadia has no contractual obligation to not say anything.
You see, this is why when everybody is looking for who at ITV knew something and who didn't say something, who didn't, you cannot put a person's life and their livelihood in jeopardy by rumour, right? And rumours, like what you're all talking about, is rumours that you've seen on social media. Now, talking just totally for myself, everything has been rumour. There has never been anything, certainly of anyone that I know that's ever been seen or ever been, it's been rumour. And that is a fact. And I have no obligation one way or the other to say anything. No. But what I am very happy to say is that I think he is disgraceful that he has lied to all these people and hurt all these people. You know, there's a lot of very decent people that have worked on the show that are now going to be held up. I mean, there's going to be some not very decent people, you know. I mean, I've never worked on this one, I don't know. But I think for everybody to just want this blanket situation, that, you know, fingers must be pointed at every single person, I think is really sad. Because at the moment, the only person really that we can point a finger at is himself, because he stood there and instead of told a pack of lies for decades. Yeah. And that is shocking, isn't it?
I mean, obviously, a lot of people are... I mean, obviously, Dan Wootton's been talking about it. Eamon Holmes has been talking about it. Someone here says, I think Eamon has been nasty. I think one of the things to bear in mind here is a lot of people will be wanting to get ahead of the story, not in a cynical way, but by sheer dint of association. I mean, I think there's a lot more is going to come out around the timing and nature of Phillip Schofield's coming out as gay on the programme. I think a lot of upset has been caused online, I've seen, within the gay community around the opportunistic use and belittling of coming out as some kind of cloud cover for some kind of imminent incoming, not necessarily illegal, that's not what we're saying, but incoming scandal. Which
actually... Again, in his statement, Phillip said, I have never been forced to say anything. So, you know, it's almost like the statement has challenged every single rumour that there's been, hasn't it? But, like, what I find incredible is, like, there's almost the naivety that he would think that this statement is going to shut something down, when actually, I think for so many people, what it's done is opened up more questions. But what the social media world mustn't get into is that everybody has the answers to this. You know, I think I think there's an awful lot of people that are very, very, very shocked by what's happened.
Now, a lot of people are also saying, is, look, this is incredibly benign. It just, you know, someone just said Leonardo DiCaprio has a relationship with someone with this. This isn't about an age gap relationship. This is about... sorry?
Yeah, I mean, nobody actually knows anything about the relationship, do they? Nobody knows. The person hasn't been named. There's been no details.
No,
that's the problem. So still within it is rumour.
Yes,
still rumour.
but on social media, you'd be hard pushed to go online and not know who the person is. So, at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is this isn't about a big age gap relationship and the rights and wrongs of that. And, okay, it's awful, he's deceived people, but you did it. This is about the possibility. The question mark here is about the possibility and the suggestion that given that Phillip Schofield knew this person from such a young age,
well, yeah,
what was the narrative and what was the intention between knowing that person from that young age and that person arriving at ITV as an adult at that point? What were those terms? And of course, that's where the term grooming is coming from.
The point is nobody has been named. Nobody. This is the thing, isn't it? It just keeps going around in circles, and this is the problem. I think that the thought that this can all be said without actually saying anything, I think it's just brought up more questions and more.
So do you feel that the story? What's your feeling? How's this story going to develop? Do you think? Are we just going to now start to get the details of who and when and how? Or are these statements?
I think it's inevitable, because I think when you make a statement like that, this isn't going to shut it down, is it? No. This is going to increase all the curiosity and all, like you say, all the trolls and all the, and it is always best to stick with what evidence is and where the evidence is, and then if new evidence comes out, then you discuss that. But to preempt and to just try and I think that's where it gets mucky and dangerous. And what we know today is that he is a disgrace. He has let down so many people. There are going to be endless questions now. We haven't seen the end of it. This isn't the end of it, is it? It's the beginning of it.
No. And in fact, the journalist at the Daily Mail said day 2. I think it's around about 6 o'clock that more news kind of lands. So I do think, the story is going to evolve and the story is going to develop. And I mean, if there is any kind of, someone just said grooming is awful. No one is disputing. Of course, grooming is awful. That's the point. Grooming is ghastly and awful and something that needs to be investigated and looked into. So, look, the editor-at-large of the Mail on Sunday said earlier that there is more to come out tomorrow. So the Mail on Sunday are obviously...
I just don't think it's going to go away, and we just,
And I think maybe, whatever you think of Eamon and Ruth, maybe it's fury, it's fury at the fact that, they were on the same show. So, anyway.
Yeah, like everybody's got to really just stop picking on everybody else, I think. I think it's just unkind, let's just take it one step at a time with what we are being told as fact at the minute. And because if there are investigations to be made, they will be made, won't they?
And also, just to kind of, also in terms of Holly, there's friendships, and then there's, I don't want to there's professional friendships, and then there's celebrity friendships. She won't necessarily have known everything.
But this is nothing. Really we can't know any of this.
It's really important. But it's really important. But people are saying she must. You'd think so. But it's just not absolutely a given. You just can't. It can't be, unfortunately.
It's that mob-handed thing. It's like we just have to wait and see and
But anyway, so I feel sorry for all the other people around. All the collateral damage that happens with something like this is just awful, and that includes crew, that includes co-presenters, that includes management that weren't, certain parts of management and what have you. It includes so many people, and obviously, Phillip Schofield's children. It's just what a mess. So in other dramas, Pink Floyd star Roger Waters. Okay, I just want to quickly ask you: Do you not believe, because I'm not suggesting for a minute that Roger Waters is a fascist, it's not at all, but was Pink Floyd, I want to ask this, were they stupid? He dressed as an SS soldier on stage at a gig in Germany.
Which is illegal.
Yeah, which is illegal because it can be seen...
With a possible 3-year sentence.
It can be seen as legally in Germany, this can be seen as constituting a glorification and a justification or approval of Nazi rule, and therefore a disturbance of the public peace. And he's standing on stage in all of his kind of leather kind of regalia with a machine gun. Could you argue that what he's doing is no different to the producers, Springtime for Hitler, or springtime in Germany for, what was it? Springtime. Do you remember that?
I mean, I think the thing is, it's like anything, isn't it? If you are going to another country,
Yeah, you need to.
you are obliged, whether you like it or not, and whether it's all right in a different country, you are obliged to follow the law. I don't think he was trying to incite violence. Like he said,
Yeah.
he said he spent a lifetime standing up and speaking out against, against this very thing. Was supposed to be ironic, wasn't it?
Well,
But my God, he missed
do
it.
you believe him? I mean, the only reason I'm asking is that I'm trying to think back to, there was a story
He said he's been doing this since
somewhere.
the 80s or something, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he says himself, Roger Waters says he was opposing fascism, injustice and bigotry when he posed firing an imitation machine gun while wearing his Nazi-inspired uniform. As we just said, there's very strict rules about this in Germany. But he says that, people are trying to portray the elements that he performed as something else. He says they're politically motivated. He feels that people are trying to smear him. He was sort of trying to say that the depiction of an unhinged fascist demagogue has been a feature of my show since Pink Floyd's The Wall, which is true in 1980. Do you think this is unfair? I think several people have complained, obviously. I think the German authorities have had to are liaising with the Jewish News, or the equivalent of the Jewish Chronicle, I think, in Germany. We are live now, Elizabeth Gordon, absolutely. Mel Brooks did the same, Dawn Decker. But I guess, as you rightly say, Nads, it's like people who get severe sentences for taking hash or cannabis into a country where it's punishable by either having your hands chopped off or death. On the one hand, it's like, oh God, that's brutal, that's harsh, that's awful. Oh my God, you should have. But then on the other, it's like, do your due diligence when you're visiting a country. If you know this is the case, don't do it.
Yeah, so is it a bit of that sort of rock star ego thing where
Should
I'm
Pink
untouchable,
Floyd
I can do whatever I
Well,
want?
the majority of you think Pink Floyd should be charged re the fascist's outfit.
Well, because it is illegal.
Yeah, no, I just wondered whether people would give him a sort of passport.
If anybody here now went to flies off to Germany tomorrow and thinks it'd be quite a laugh to walk up and down the street in a Nazi outfit, they would be arrested and they would be charged. Why should it be any different because he's a rock star?
You see, I think, I totally agree. I think the nub of this story is doing it in Germany was the insensitivity. Doing it in the UK, you could cause offence to some people, but it is entirely similar to Mel Gibson doing it with The Producers and Springtime for Hitler in Germany. Someone just said there that Prissy, the Republicans were upset at Pink Floyd because the rainbow on their album cover, and they thought it was gay pride.
Oh, God.
Just shows you, doesn't it? Just shows you. Where did
How
you...
careful you have to be.
Okay, so that's... now, passport control. There's all sorts of, again, we were just saying, weren't we, stories about passport e-gates not working at UK airports, carnage, half-term, system in peril, queues like you've never seen before, chaos, 18-mile-long queues. We just literally swanned through Gatwick faster than I've ever flown through.
I've never been to Gatwick without there being one of those mad,
news stories.
Zigzag queues.
Oh.
But they go so fast.
Do you know what? Can I say something though? The
It's
last
like, oh
three
my
times I've
God.
been to Gatwick, there hasn't been a zigzag queue.
No, but every time I've ever been in the zigzag queue, I'm like, oh my God, suddenly I'm here.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have time for a phone call,
It's
a
not
sandwich.
Pink Floyd, okay? It's just Roger Waters, it's just it wasn't there, but I do wonder whether this is passport e-gates as you come back into the country, and there's no getting away from the fact that when you look at the photos, they've never worked.
You just have to keep doing call somebody over, go back out, come back in. It goes on and on.
Yeah. It's technicality which is causing total. We're shambolic, aren't we? We can't even get a bloody remote controlled door to bloody well open. So can I just ask, are any of you away for half term? Are any of you kind of doing the mad dash or the mad travel? I mean, I thought it was going to be absolute chaos, but it wasn't. I mean, even the airport didn't seem chaotic, did it? And finally, Madeleine McCann. There's no substance or detail on what the relevant clue is that they seem to have discovered at the reservoir. at which this German suspect,
Is this the German police that have released a statement?
the German
saying
police
it's
have,
irrelevant?
have collected material which will be sent to Germany for testing. Now, an interesting thing, when we were talking about this in the week, I was saying, oh God, I hope this isn't the actual, the guy in prison, the paedophile, playing cat and mouse with the authorities. Yeah. Well, interestingly, the German police have said this is not a tip-off, all based on evidence or testimony from him. This is the tip-off. The reason they've gone here to do this investigation and look around this reservoir is they've had a tip-off from somewhere else. They've been given this, they've been instigated to go there by some other means, which I personally think is encouraging, that it's not going to be some sort of egotistical, narcissistic, fraudulent, weird serial killer kind of, I'm going to send you somewhere where there's nothing. But they have collected some material. It has gone back to Germany. And I've got a feeling we could be hearing some potentially big news next week around this. They have also, sadly, it sounds like, recovered material belonging to and relating to other children. No. And there's also the suggestion, which is just tragically horrible, where certain people are talking about the possibility that they fear she could have been alive for 2 or 3 days. Oh my God. Now, whether this is based on we don't know if any of this is based on the material they found or not. So that's the Madeleine McCann.
But I suppose it's quite meaningful that the German police have said that there's a relevant bit of evidence. Yeah. I mean, why would they say? I don't understand why they say any of this publicly anyway.
It is
it's
always
very
odd,
odd, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, are they obliged to? Why would you say it before there is anything really solid to say?
Yeah, it's curious.
Very curious.
And finally, just to sound an alarm bell, US and Mexico are worried about a cosmetic surgery-linked fungal outbreak. God. The WHO are involved. It's a massive fungal outbreak linked to cosmetic operations in Mexico. I saw this and I thought, oh Christ, we're going to get The Last of Us a la Pedro Pascal, and it's going to be because of bloody cosmetic procedures. Start messing about with things and all sorts of shit starts to kick off.
Why? What is it?
Well, they're saying here, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention said 2 people who got surgeries involving epidural anesthesia have died of meningitis. 400 other people in the US and Mexico are being monitored, and they're worried that it's been caught from a...
But you can have an epidural for anything. So it just happened that it was 2 people that were having...
So it looks like it's low-cost medical services, yeah. Oh, also good news this week, AI managed to develop a drug that could fight drug-resistant and...
Penicillin-resistant
viruses, which is good. So, guys, there you go.
So, guys, a bit of a weird one from this hotel room. But, if this is your first time joining us, we do Coffee Moaning and the papers 6 days a week.
Any spark of joy. The biggest spark of joy is going to be you're going to be watching this wonderful woman and her wonderful sister on stage. I'm going to be alongside them. It's going to be carnage. They're going to be microphoned up. I'm hoping it's going to go well, but we're all secretly, are we not, kind of hoping it doesn't. Because it's always very entertaining.
So we're going to be cooking our Middle Eastern dishes. So we're live at 11:30 tomorrow here in Glasgow at the Ideal Home Exhibition. Yeah. But it'll be being beamed out to our YouTube chat. Yeah. Well, this right here.
Right here. That will be 11:30 for the normal channel, and then there'll be 2 more lives later in the day on the members area, and we're back to normal with Coffee Moaning on Monday in London. So, guys, have a lovely rest of the day.
Lots of love. Hit the subscribe button. Have a look around the channel, and we'll see you soon.
Bye.